All right, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. So today I just wanted to talk to you guys about something that is storming YouTube right now. Big controversy and big news, I guess, about some changes that are coming to YouTube and how it will affect our channel here as well as many other channels across YouTube. So we're going to talk about those things and just lay some things to rest, and then we'll move on with life. I always like to come out to the greenhouse during this time of year to shoot these kinds of videos because it's warm in here. So what's going on? If you've been around YouTube or social media or anything like that over the last few weeks or month, you've maybe heard of this COPPA or COPPA, C-O-P-P-A, Child Online Protection Act, whatever it is. It's been around for a long time. It's not new necessarily, the act itself. I think it was passed in the late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. It's been around for a while, but this basically, it's an act that was meant to protect children online, and there's nothing wrong with it necessarily. There's nothing wrong with doing that or trying to protect kids. If you know about the whole backstory with this or all the details, then you can skip ahead a couple minutes. But just to give you guys that are watching this channel, maybe hearing about this for the first time, an idea of what's going on. YouTube was sued by the government for basically infringing on or violating this act, this law. And what had happened was Google collects information whenever you're on the internet and you're signed in your Google account or anything like that, or even through cookies and other things, and you're online, you're viewing things, and maybe you're shopping, you're checking out things online, you're doing research for chicken coops or something, and then you go and watch a YouTube video. Well, Google will use that information that they've collected to target you with advertisements, which there's nothing wrong with. I mean, I'd rather watch if I have to watch an advertisement, I'd rather watch it to be something related to, what I'm interested in. Maybe I'll watch the ad. Maybe it's something I want to buy. Maybe, I'm fine with that. So if I'm looking at chicken coops and I, get an advertisement for Home Depot or lumber or hardware or something related to that in some way, I'd rather that than, women's dresses or something that I could care less about. So there's nothing wrong with what Google's doing in collecting information, but the problem came when they were collecting information from kids who were under the age of 13. So that's what this act considers a child. So Google and YouTube, you have to be 13 years or older to have an account with them. To have a YouTube account and get on, not YouTube Kids, but regular YouTube, you do have to be 13 years or older. But what was happening, I think, was a lot of kids were sign into their parents' accounts or don't have accounts at all. You can view YouTube as a guest without an account, and Google was still collecting that information and targeting, like kids get on a computer and they're playing a bunch of kid games or looking at kid YouTube or kid videos and stuff, then they would start to target kids with kid-related advertisements. And so this was apparently a violation of this law, and they were sued and they settled. They basically lost the lawsuit. They had to settle with the government, and this just happened this year. What they're doing to protect themselves from this kind of thing happening again is on YouTube specifically, any videos that are targeted towards kids. So this is how YouTube can kind of protect itself from these kinds of lawsuits. Any videos that are targeted towards kids, anything, and there's a whole bunch of information out there from YouTube as well as from the government that tells you kind of what those parameters are. Are they vague? Yeah, they kind of are. Is there a lot of wiggle room, gray areas and things like that? Yeah, there really is. And that's kind of what makes us in the homestead world a little bit nervous, I guess. But the idea is that if you have a channel on YouTube or you make a video on YouTube that targets that audience, an audience that would be under 13 years old, you are required to mark that video as being targeted as targeting kids. And then what YouTube will do in response to that is they will change a lot of things on how that video is viewed. So for instance, comments will be disabled. No tracking or targeted advertisement will be used alongside that video. So if it's targeted at kids and the kids are watching that video, they'll get Home Depot commercials. They'll get commercials for, anything that had nothing to do with kid stuff. They'll be watching regular advertisements and still watch the video. That also will limit the amount of advertisements that will play for any video that is targeting kids. So if you're making a video for Play-Doh or how to make Play-Doh or something like that, on your channel, that definitely targets kids under the age of 13. You need to mark that accordingly, and then all interaction will be taken away from that video, which affects how it's ranked, which affects how it's shared, which affects, you know, how popular that video might get. And it also affects the amount of revenue that a YouTuber would make from advertisements. Less advertisements will be played because advertisers want to put their ads in front of a targeted audience. Home Depot doesn't want to pay money to put their you know, advertisement in front of a 13-year-old kid, because they're not the ones shopping at Home Depot buying lumber, most likely. So this is where the problem comes in. If you have a YouTube channel that entirely targets kids, you're actually required to mark your entire channel as being targeting kids. So let's say you have a channel about Legos, or maybe a gaming channel or something like that. I would say those probably qualify. Your channel will overall have no more interaction. There'll be no more comments, less advertisement revenue as a whole for all of your videos. The community tab and other social interactions on your channel will go away completely, and a few other things. And you can look all this up online. So that's what this new rule has done. All these things take effect, I believe, in January, in the new year. We're already seeing YouTube has already notified all the content creators and given us, you know, some guidelines and some advice on how to handle this, because we're the ones that are on the hook for this. Google has done what they have been required to do by law to protect them as a company, and now it's on us to mark our content correctly. And this is where it gets a little bit scary, I guess. I don't even want to use the word scary. This is where it gets a little bit gray area-y so, for homesteaders and stuff like that. You know, if you have kids in your video, does that mean it targets kids? If you're doing family-friendly stuff, does that mean it targets kids as well as parents? You know, what are you doing? And you, as a content creator, could get sued or get fined by the government. It says up to $42,000, which I'm sure that's a pretty extreme case. But you could get fined, you could get tagged, there could be some kind of consequence for you violating this act, the SSLFamilyDad Act. My channel, SSLFamilyDad, specifically targets dads. I don't know of a lot of dads that are under 13, and so I'm not worried about my channel. I have done some things where DIY builds for games, and I do include my kids in videos sometimes and things like that. I don't personally feel like that puts me in that gray area. I'm not that worried. I don't think that anything will change for my channel, for you guys as viewers. Now we have the SSL Family Kids channel that my kids do specifically. We've marked their channel as for kids completely, and that's just the way it's going to be for them. So I'm not too concerned or too worried about this. I know a lot of people are. We just recently were in a school with some kids doing a career fair about YouTube stuff, and a lot of the kids were really worried, and these were 6th, 7th, and 8th grade kids. They have heard about this thing, and they're all worried, and because they feel like they now don't have a voice. They can't make YouTube videos. They can't start a YouTube channel because they feel like there's no hope for it to ever be popular or anybody to interact with it. You can't, you know, there's a lot of things that have really, I think this really hurts YouTube as a community. It hurts, you know, those gaming channels, those Lego channels, those, you know, all the fun toy channels and kids channels. My kids watch all the time. And so I hope that it doesn't negatively affect them in the long term. I hope that they find other ways to monetize their channels in creative ways and other things like that. But only time will tell how this will affect YouTube as a whole. And so I really don't know what will happen. Don't give up on YouTube. I don't feel like this is YouTube's fault. I don't feel like they've done anything wrong, and that's just my opinion. A lot of people think otherwise. That's fine. I think that they've done what they've had to do, and they have a business to run, and they're trying to do the best they can to do that. And I think that the responsibility now lies on the creator. That's unfortunate, but it is the way it is, and that's the law, and that's what we need to figure out and need to follow. And so we will do that, and we will stay positive and continue putting out great content for you guys to watch. And if it gets demonetized or doesn't make as much money or whatever the impact is, well, that is what it is, and we'll go from there. So not a big deal for us, and I don't think there'll be any consequence to the homestead channels necessarily, except for maybe very few specific videos that are targeting kids very specifically. So So hopefully that clears maybe the questions that people have. I'd love to hear your comments. You know, there's a lot of different opinions out there. There may be information that is different than or a little off from what I said. Hopefully I portrayed everything correctly. I'm not an expert on this. I'm not a lawyer or anything. So I'm just taking information, what I've read, what YouTube's told me, what I had to do, you know, from them on our channel, and news articles and other YouTube videos that I've watched about it. So as always, don't forget to hit thumbs up while you still can. Hit thumbs up on every video, and of course subscribe if this is your first time to the SSL Family Dad channel. Lots of homesteading, DIY stuff, farming, growing things, building things, fixing things, and any other thing that you dads out there might be interested in, as well as anyone else over 13 that would want to watch. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.